Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. This is the English translation of the Majlis of Hazrat Maulana Qamar Uzzaman Saheb Damat Barakatuhum, which took place on Saturday, the 26th of Zulhijjah, 1444, corresponding with the English date, 15th of July, 2023. Hazrat Wala is saying, the kitab that I have in front of me, Asharu Qawaid fi Tazkiyatin Nufus, it is the kitab of an Arab alim. We sat together and we made tarjuma of this kitab. And this kitab अपने बुजुर्गों के तालीम के ऐन मुवाफिक है. It is corresponding so much and is so close to the talim of our buzurgan deen. And many people were delighted to see this kitab when it was presented to them. Now, from these 10 principles in the reformation and the purification of the nafs, principle number 5, which is takhliya and tahliya. Takhliya, emptying, removing, divesting, and tahliya, decorating, adorning, and embellishing. So, takhliya and tahliya. It is only when you empty out, then will it be possible for something then to come in. So here Hazrat Wala is quoting this sher that Zikr Haq Pakast Chu Paki Rasid Rakht Bar Bandad Barun Ayat Palid, that Zikr Haq, the Zikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is absolutely pure and pak. When it reaches, then filth, dirt, impurity goes on its own. It goes away on its own. Now, when we speak about takhliya, emptying and removing, it just doesn't stop there. Rather, we have to do something after that. We have to create that khubi, shadabi. We have to create that beauty, that decoration and beautification of the heart. Just to empty it is not good enough. Khali karna bhi kafi nahi hai. Balke Hazrat Shah Waliullah Sahab फरमाते थे, हज़रत शाह वलीउल्लाह साहब used to say that सहाबा किराम अपने खलवात को तस्बीहात से मामूर फरमाते थे, that the Sahaba used to occupy their moments of solitude with the tasbih and the dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ta'at bajalana zaruri hai to bring into existence. Ta'at, it is necessary. So now here, the author here is saying that in the haqiqat al-tazkiyah, that the reality of purification of the nafs is takhliyatun nafs awwalan, that we first have to divest the carnal self of all evil traits, acts of disobedience and sins, بِتَطْهِيرِهَا عَنِ الرَّذَائِلِ وَالْمَعَاصِ وَالذُّنُوبِ, and thereafter, after that, to embellish it by doing acts of obedience and everything else which would draw a person closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in simple, the haqiqat and the reality of tazkiyah of nafs is first to divest the carnal self of all evil traits, acts of disobedience and sins. After that, to embellish it by doing good acts of obedience and everything else which would draw a person closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Haji Imdadullah used to say that, listen, hamari nisbat ek hi hai. Myself and my nisbat, myself, I'm here, I'm just one. However, har ek ka bottle alag alag hai. Every person's container, his zarf, his eye is different. So every person, according to his mind, his eye and his heart, naksha kinchte hai, he will take whatever he is seeing. You know, on one occasion, Hazrat Wala is saying, I asked Hazrat Maulana Habibur Rahman Azmi that Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Hussain Sahab, Alahbadi, बहुत काबिल आदमी थे. I asked him that Maulana Muhammad Hussain Sahab Alahbadi was a man of great capacity, a man who was very all-comprehensive, very qabil. So Hazrat Maulana Habibur Rahman Azmi answered and he said that हम उनकी किताब समझ ले, यही बड़ी बात है. You're talking about Qabil and what type of capacity and how great his knowledge and his mind, his IQ and acumen is. Leave alone all that. If we merely just manage to understand what he has written in his kitabs, it is of such a high level, his caliber, his capacity is such that if we just manage to understand what he has written in his kitabs, that will be an achievement on its own. Allahu Akbar. So yeah, just speaking, and how does this name come here all of a sudden? Hazrat Maulana Muhammad Hussain Sahab Alahbadi, I mean, he used to even listen to Qawwali, etc. But here, his name came about that Hazrat Haji Sahab was there, and all these personalities, Maulana Rashid Ahmad Sahab, Maulana Ashraf Ali Tanwi, Maulana Qasim Sahab, Maulana Muhammad Hussain Sahab Alahbadi, they all came to Hazrat Haji Sahab, Haji Imdadullah. Hazrat Shah Waliullah used to say, ने लिखा कि उम्मत के उलमा के लिए ज़रूरी है कि तस्हील पैदा करे. That it is necessary for the ulama of the ummah to create ease for the people. But it just doesn't stop there. I mean, whatever we're presenting of the deen, to create ease for the people and present it in such a beautiful and easy way to them. That's in its place. But he says together with that, or dua kar le ke wo kubur kar le. And also together with that, make dua that they accept it. Now Hazrat Wala is saying this on the note that the author here is quoting the ayat of the Quran Majid that خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ صَدَقَةً تُطَهِّرُهُمْ وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ بِهَا وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ. Take zakat from their wealth so that you may purify and cleanse them thereby. But not just that, take zakat from their wealth and cleanse them thereby. It just doesn't stop there. O Nabi of Allah, وَصَلِّ عَلَيْهِمْ, and make dua for them. Make dua for them. So Hazrat Shah Waliullah is saying that it is necessary for the ulama of the ummah to create ease for the people and also to make dua that they accept the ta'aleem. So here Allah Ta'ala himself is instructing the Nabi to make dua for the people. You know, in the old days, the hukama, the hakims and the physicians, wo log dawa dete the. They used to give the medication, or raat ko dua bhi karte the. At night they would also cry and make dua that they are the mu'alij, they are treating this person. They would make dua to Allah that Allah, you cure this person. Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia Sahib's father, Dr. Abdul Ali Sahib, on one occasion Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib took his family to make ilaj and for treatment, etc. On that occasion, Dr. Sahib, the father of Hazrat Maulana Ali Mia Sahib, said that, you know, I took my medication and I diagnosed a certain person, and then I treated him with a certain medicine, and it worked out well. The person was cured and he left happily. Nevertheless, when the second person came and I realized he has the same problem also, I treated him with the same medication and it worked out again and he left happily. When the third person then came and I seen exactly now the same signs in this person, I give him the same medication, but that medication did not work for him. I was compelled to tell myself then, looking at all of this together, the ilm of medication, diagnosis, this, that, the other, all put together in its place. Shafa Allah Ta'ala ke haath mein. That cure is only and only in the hands of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So make dua that Allah Ta'ala gives us yaksui. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives us this peace, and where we remove everything, takhliya, take everything out, and we only have Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala in our hearts. It is for this reason that Hazrat Haji Imdadullah rahimahullah, when he would carry out dhikr, rather he would even make talqeen to others about this. He would instruct them about this also, that listen, when you're making dhikr, sit close to a wall so that there's nothing in between you and that. In simple words, meaning that now nothing can distract you, there would be more concentration. Now here, in this ayat that we quoted, that take zakah from their wealth so that you may purify them and cleanse them thereby, and make dua for them. The words, purify them, tutahhiruhum, make reference to takhliya, cleaning them from the evils by purifying them from sins. And the words that come after that, وَتُزَكِّيهِمْ, refer to tahliya, where the nur now comes into the heart, embellishing with virtues and good actions. Now the mention of purification before cleansing shows that the act of divesting takes place before embellishing. First, you got to rid yourself and clean yourself up from all these evil characteristics. Rather, empty everything other than Allah, empty it out, and then embellishing. Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, somebody was speaking about her, so he goes on to say that she was a faqiha, a great jurist, and an alima, and she was like this and like that, enumerating all her great qualities and salient features. But he did not mention that she was a Sufia. And I think that maybe because himself he wasn't acquainted to that, or he had not even tasted that, due to which he did not mention that she was a Sufia. And on that point, I'm saying that she was a great Sufi, Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha. And in substantiation there, I quote the incident that took place in the last moments of her life, just before her passing away and her ruh leaving her body. That when the knock came on the door and people said to her that it is Ibn Abbas that is seeking permission. And she went on to say that, no, I don't allow him to come in. Because I know his temperament, I know his style. If he comes here, he will start praising me. And I don't want this at this point. I don't want it. And then people persisted and said, but he is Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam's first cousin. Nevertheless, she then agrees. Ibn Abbas is admitted into that private chamber, and he walks in, he comes in. As he makes his presence and comes in, he starts praising her. You are that individual that because of you the ummah got this, that and the other. It is you, this personality that Allah Ta'ala had revealed your purity in the Quran. This, that, the other, he continued. And then she went on to say, didn't I tell you people that what he will do? I wanted to leave now. I'm going to meet Allah. I want to meet Allah in such a way that nobody even knows who is Aisha. When did she come? When did she go? You know, Hazrat Maulana Qasim Saheb used to say that if it was not because of this Maulviyat of minds, that a person is dressed like this, etc., I would have annihilated and carried out such a type of self-effacement that nobody would have ever known who was Qasim, when did Qasim come, when did Qasim go. Jisne mitaya apna namo nisha haft iqlim ka bana sultan. That person who humbled himself, who lowered himself, adopted complete and total humility in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, annihilation of oneself, erased all his signs and his effects completely and totally, that person was elevated the most. Hazrat Haji Sahib used to say it this way, मैं तो अपना नाम और निशा मिटा बेटा, that listen, I am sitting here hidden and erased all my effects and traces that nobody knows about me. Shohra ura diya mera kisne. I just wonder so that who has spread this name and fame of mine all over the show. You know, it comes in the hadith, we learn that if a person carries out a good deed behind 70 veils, then Allah Ta'ala will also bring that forth and in front of people. Have you not heard of people fasting their entire lives? From our mashayikh and our ulama, carrying out such deeds in such a way with so much of ikhfa that not even their spouses knew that they were carrying that out. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made that known to the ummah. You know here, خُذْ مِنْ أَمْوَالِهِمْ, take zakah from their wealth so that you may purify them. You know, ayats and ahadith of this nature, normally the ulama don't want to speak about it because people would be saying then that, oh, okay, they're asking for money now or this or that. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib never ever thought about such things like that. He understood it this way, that these are ayat, nas from the Quran Kareem text, and the ahadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which I have to pass over to the people. Chashmo band, labbo band, gosh band, gar nabini noor haq, barman bakhand. Shut your eyes, zip those lips, plug those ears, meaning see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. Gar nabini noor haq, barman bakhand. Then too, if you do not see the noor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then laugh at me. Because this is so tried, so tested, so experienced and proven and seen by our ulama in mashayikh over and over again, that if a person actually follows this, it is impossible. Rather, it would rather be necessary then, he will only see nothing but the noor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib, sometimes he would pick up the newspaper and then there would be some type of picture there, and then he would take it and push it aside, and then he would go on to say, Ab aankh ki gunah se kaisa bacha jaye? Now tell me, from the sins of the eyes, now how will we save ourselves? Tell me now what to do. Have they gone to this extent also? He would be sitting in his private chamber, and from downstairs on the streets, loud music would be coming up to his room and to his kamra. And then he would say then, Ab gunah se kaisa bacha jaye? Now this is the importance they attached to looking after the eyes, the ears, and the tongue. Now tell me, are you going to tell me that tasawwuf is bid'at? Is this not in the Quran Majid? Takhliya and tahliya, divesting and embellishing. Khudh min amwalihim sadaqatan tutahhiruhum. So first, purity, purifying them, divesting, and then watuzakkihim biha wa salli alayhim, and then embellishing thereafter. So first takhliya and then tahliya. And this is the beauty and this is the excellence of the kalima tayyiba, in which you find takhliya also and tahliya. Takhliya, removal of everything else other than Allah. La ilaha. And then illallah, embellishing, decorating and beautifying the heart with Allah. La ilaha illallah. Mujaddid Al-Fithani used to say, Hech arzu enest. I have no wish, I have no desire, absolutely, other than this, that I find some corner of solitude where I can sit and make takrar of this kalima tayyiba. Sahaba, what type of difficulties came their way, but they tolerated it. Hazrat Maulana Mohammad Hassan Sahib Amritsari, Khalifa of Hazrat Tanvi, when on the occasion of the amputation of his leg. And he did not want to take anything. And he said that chop my leg. And people even asked him thereafter that, how did you overcome this and how did you tolerate that pain? He said, I had my gaze on the reward that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has promised, that everything then, after that, then became easy for me. So if you got 1,000, hundreds of beloveds hidden in your heart, then tell me, how will Allah then come into your heart? Ala inna lillahi fi ardihi awani. Behold, remember, most definitely for Allah in His zameen and land there are certain containers, certain utensils. Ala wahiya al-qulub. Remember, they are the hearts. وَأَحَبُّ الْأَوَانِ إِلَى اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. And the most pure of these hearts or utensils of Allah on earth in His sight is أَصْفَاهَا وَأَصْلَبُهَا وَأَرَقُّهَا. That's the hadith. Now the Sharih then goes on to say, أَصْفَاهَا, the purest of them, min al-dhunub, from sins. Aslabuha fi deen, the most firm of them on the deen. Wa araqquha, and the most compassionate, al ikhwan, to friends. So Allah Ta'ala make our hearts just like that. Asfaha wa aslabuha wa araqquha. It comes regarding Okay. Hazrat Ibn Jawzi rahimahullah has written the Madarij Salikin. Have a look at that kitab and see what he has written about suluk and tasawwuf. Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahib used to say, Allahumma aati nafsi taqwaha wa zakkiha anta khayru man zakkaha anta waliyuha wa maulaha. Oh Allah, give my nafs its taqwa and its piety, وَزَكِّهَا أَنْتَ خَيْرُ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا, and purify it, for you are the best who can purify my heart. أَنْتَ وَلِيُّهَا وَمَوْلَاهَا, you are its guardian, you are its owner, you are its maker. Oh Allah, if we are these individuals, if we are Saheb nafs, the ones next to the nafs, then, oh Allah, you are the owner of the nafs. You also have a right. Oh Allah, you purify this nafs of ours. So the person who wants to purify himself first will have to uproot the sins and the evils which corrupt the heart, and then prevent the light of guidance, iman, etc. from entering it. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Hazrat Abu Hurairah radiyallahu ta'ala narrates that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, whenever a believer commits a sin, a black spot appears on his heart. If he repents and seeks forgiveness, his heart is cleansed. But if he commits another sin, another black spot appears. This is the rust which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala refers to in this ayat, Kalla bal rana ala qulubihim ma kanu yaksibun. No such thing. Rather, that which they were earning has covered their hearts with rust. So qad aflaha man zakkaha. Now Allah Ta'ala rectify and purify us. There is so much of ghaflat. Allah is saying Himself that the one who has purified his nafs has become successful. And today there is still inkar and rejection of that, refutation of it. So if there is no taslim, if you haven't accepted it, what amal will you make? Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of making amal. Allah Ta'ala purify us from the razail. When Maulana Daryabadi came, what did he say? Char hafte ek kahaf mein. He said regarding his 40 days that he spent there, he said 4 weeks or so many days in this cave that I spent, referring to the Khanka of Hazrat Maulana Shah Wasiullah Sahab. So Allah Ta'ala give us the tawfiq and the hidayat of treading the path of His pleasure. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala accept, and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala give us the tawfiq of having fikr, that how can we acquire and get husul of this dawlat and this great wealth. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم بحرمة سيد النبي الكريم صلى الله عليه وسلم.